for a return visit, maybe about 4, 5, 6 times. Joe Benigno, Oh the Pain podcast, WFAN, the best talk show host sports-wise in the country. I say it, you don't have to say it. And my man is with me today once again. Hi, Joe.
Ralph, it's always a pleasure seeing you and your lovely wife. Always a pleasure.
Oh, I appreciate it, Joe. More than you know. I appreciate it. Well, how's the summer going so far for you?
You know, it's interesting. I had the last month or so has been a little tough. I had a bad case of the gout, which if you ever had the gout, you don't ever want the gout.
Terrible. My mother had it.
I get it in my hand. My hand was like a claw. I got over that. I got over that. Then last week, last Wednesday, not yesterday, last Wednesday, we're playing golf. I tripped over a rope and tore my leg like you can't believe. And I have very bad skin, very thin skin anyway. And it looked like somebody took a meat cleaver to my leg. Okay. That's how bad it was. I'm recovering nicely. My doctor took care of me immediately. I went to the wound center and they patched me up. Every 2 days, I got a nurse coming to the house to change the bandage. That's where I was this morning, right? They changed it again for me, cleaned it and all. But I played golf twice. I'm done with the pool.
You won't be denied. You got to get on that course.
Hey, Ralph, they said I could play. I didn't break anything. You know what, Ralph? I was lucky. I got 2 new hips. I didn't break anything. I'm actually happy about it. Really.
So I got to report to you. I'm listening to these 2 guys in the morning, BT and Sal. Right. They're talking about you playing golf in the past with them. Then they say that BT got hit by Francesa with a wild drive right in the center of his chest, Joe.
Right.
No. He's going to have a heart attack because he got hit with a golf ball in the center of his chest. Did you hear about that incident?
I did. Actually, what happened was it was out of a bunker. So apparently Mike was in one of these low bunkers and he couldn't see anything. BT was on the green. Mike hits the shot. He hits a line drive out of the bunker and he hits BT right in the chest with it. That's the story I heard.
It's when he got shot. He got hit right in the center of the chest. Right. That's no joke, That's no joke.
Hey, bro, look, I mean, you get hit with a golf ball. I've been hit with a golf ball. It's funny, Sal, we played with Sal last summer and he actually hit me. It was on a bounce. It actually bounced and hit me, and I got a nice welt. I got a nice welt from it in my leg. I got a nice welt from. Now you could let me tell you, get hit by a golf ball in one place, it'll take you out, bro.
Oh, no doubt about it. I've gotten hit by baseballs, thousands of times, but never a golf ball. You know what's funny about the whole? I've never brought this up with you. I wanted to. There was a time during the overnights, years ago, when you lambasted golf. You would tell the folks that I'll never play golf. What I have to ask you, what turned you around?
What turned me around was the great Jerry Recco. This is like over 20 years ago now. The great Jerry Recco said, look, he would say, I'm telling you, golf is terrific. You want to play, especially because it's going to be the only game you're going to be able to play going forward as you get older, right? So I used to buy, nah. So he brought me to his club one day. I'll never forget. It was like right around the July 4th time. He brought me to his club. I think it was 2004. I want to say 2002, 2001. He takes me to his golf club, right? And it was hot as balls that day. And we played. We didn't play 8. We played probably 15 holes. I would say maybe I hit 2 good shots all day, Ralph. Maybe. So the end of the day, we go down to have a couple of drinks when I still was able to drink a little bit. We're having a martini at the bar afterwards, and he goes to me, "What do you think?" I said, "Bro, I love this. I can't wait to play again." He couldn't believe it. He thought I was going to say, "I'm done. I'm never playing with this again." But that I would like just that one time out, even though I was absolutely horrific. I loved it, and I just kept playing it ever since. And it took me, as I always say, Ralph, it took me about 20 years to get bad. You know what I mean?
Well, you're unpredictable on the course. One day you're good, next day you're bad, right?
Right. Well, I'll tell you this. I am extremely consistent off the tee. I mean, my driver is my best club. If I can hit driver, even on certain par 3s, I'm hitting it. So, and I've been loving. Look, I got 4 holes in 1, Ralph. I mean, you can't make that up. I mean,
Oh, that's another thing I never
yep,
touched on. This man now a hole in one is luck, but you have to get near the hole for it to drop in. I
right.
mean, it's unbelievable. How short or how long were these particular holes?
Well, of course, they're all par threes. The first one I got was about 180 yards. I did it with the driver, believe it or not. The second one I had was a short par three, maybe 100 yards, but an elevated green.
Uh
And
huh.
I hit like an approach wedge, and I knew it was close. I knew if
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
I knew I had a real good look at birdie, if nothing else. When I got to the green and didn't see it, I said, "This is in the hole," and it was. The third one, I got at Rutgers. The golf course in Rutgers was the second hole. I hit a five rescue club, like a 5 iron, maybe it was about 145 yards. And the last one I got was in June, this past June, playing at West Point, right? Great golf course, West Point. Never played there before. First time I ever played
Yeah.
there. I guess it was the third hole at Rutgers. This was the second hole. Again, about 150 or so yards. I hit my 4 rescue, which was like a 4 iron. Again, an elevated green. When I hit it, I knew I hit it right. I said to my wife, I said, "This might be in." I mean, I knew it
You
was
knew
right
it, right?
there. Yeah, and it was. And so I got 4 now. And I may not be the best golfer, but you know what?
Yeah.
Those are like championships, Ralph. They can't take them
Yeah.
away from me. You know what I mean?
4 holes in one. You have
Yeah.
to. It just doesn't happen. It
No.
doesn't happen.
Well, if you're
But
if
of
you're
course,
if you're on a PGA tour, maybe. But those guys.
they
But
don't
I'm
even do
very
it.
lucky. Now, you know what? A lot of it's luck, but a lot of it's playing a lot. I mean, if you play a lot, you're gonna get better. I mean, if you play a lot, and we play like 3, 4 days a week, you're gonna get better. And you're gonna have bad days. You're still gonna have bad days. Don't get me wrong. You have days when you look like you never played. But you know, that's the
Every sunny day, are you out there?
I won't. Well, I missed a few because of the gout. I probably missed about 10 days. Because of this injury, I missed like a week. But we played Monday. We played yesterday. We only played 9 holes because I don't want to push it yet with the leg.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and we're
yeah.
going to play tomorrow again. Tomorrow morning, we're playing again. And I'm playing 9 holes. And then I won't play again till Tuesday. So that's the setup I got right now.
Oh, the thing is, it gets you out there. You can relax a little bit.
The
You can
best,
walk.
Ralph. I love it. You know what,
I
Ralph?
don't
I
know
can
how
tell
it
you.
works. Do you walk the course or you take the
No,
car?
no, I can't walk. No, I take the car. And you know what? I
Okay.
see these guys that are my age and older, they're walking. They have no business walking. I played with a guy the other day. Terry and I played with this guy Monday, right?
Hmm.
On the third hole, which is an elevated, you got to walk up this hole. It's like straight up a
Hmm.
hill. This guy was sucking wind. He says, "I got to catch my breath." He was old. He's probably 75, this guy, right? And he's
Hmm.
walking. I'm like, this guy's nuts. And after 7 holes, he cut out. He had to leave. So
Yeah,
I hope he's all right.
yeah. And Terry's a good golfer too.
Terry's good. She's a very good golfer, better than she thinks she is. She's very, very critical of herself, though. I mean, there's days sometimes I got to reel her in. I try to tell, I said, "Ted, you're going to hit bad shots." I mean, do I not
Yeah,
hit bad shots? This is the game. You're a good golfer, but
yeah.
you just you gotta take, just because you hit one bad shot, she's ready to she's ready to throw clubs in the water. You know what I mean? you know,
It's got a bad temper.
yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, and golf was unheard of.
Well,
My father would take me to the driving range. I would
right,
drive. I was great. I was a very good baseball player. I have to say.
right.
Say I'm blowing my own horn, and I had that baseball kind of swing. I could hit the ball a mile, Joe. I never got into it, but we didn't play golf. We didn't play
Right,
tennis. Tennis was
right.
considered a little, we
Yeah.
never
A
played
little
that
too
game.
elite.
Yes, yes. But in later years, I tried to get good at golf a little bit here and there. I was going to buy a set of clubs. I never did. And the tennis is a great game too. And maybe you can't handle it back and forth these days, but tennis is great. But these games you got to get good at before you have fun. That's
Yeah.
the problem. When
That
you're
is the
still
problem. Yes. Yes.
bad at these sports, it's almost like you can't enjoy it unless you're good at it, right?
Well, I wouldn't even use the word good, Ralph. I would use the word at least that you can hold your own out there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You're not
Hmm.
embarrassing. Because I tell everybody, people get hung up on, oh, what'd you shoot? What'd you score? Don't get hung up on your score. I tell my wife this too. Yeah, look, if I have a good day and I score well, great. I'm never gonna look. I always tell everybody this. I'll get 2 more holes in one before I ever break 80. Like I'll never break 80. Right? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That never is gonna
Yeah.
happen. So, look, if I get a birdie here and there, great. I par holes. I mean, if I parred 6 holes in a round, that I parred a lot of holes. I'll say that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But I don't get hung. As long as I hit the ball consistently, to me, it's about consistent
Yeah.
ball striking. That's what it's all
That's
about.
right. That's right. Now you play with guys
At
better
this
than
level.
you.
At this
You
level,
play with the guys better than you,
I
or
like to.
on your.
No, I like to play with people better than me, bro. I like that. You don't want. I always tell this to everybody. I don't want to be the best. If I'm in a foursome, I don't want to be the best player out there. You know what I mean? You don't want to be the
Yeah.
best because then it's a drag on you. You want to
Yeah.
be playing with the guys that are, you know, that are good players, and you're trying to keep up with them instead of somebody else trying to keep up with you. You know what I mean?
Who's a guy that I wouldn't think would be an excellent golfer that you found out? Like one of these guys that we know from the station or something like that. Who's the guy that stands out? I'm curious.
Well, Boomer's very good. I've
Boomer's
only played
good.
with Boom. Yeah, but I've only played with Boomer once. But he's a typical athlete. These guys generally can just pick up a club and
Yeah,
play.
they're just good.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Boomer's very good. I haven't played with BT in a while, but I have played with BT a number of times. He's a good golfer. Jerry's pretty good. Jerry Recco's pretty good golfer. Those guys. Those are the guys.
Okay, so these guys are good. Okay, let's get into our team. Let's
Yeah.
see the Mets up and down season. You don't from one. I was gonna call you maybe a week ago. We would have said, now they're playing a little bit better. We would have sang a different tune a week ago. That's how the season has gone, Joe. It's been a roller coaster
Right.
ride. Give me your overall on the Mets, if you would.
Well, I mean, all of a sudden, after this team was having so much trouble, getting big hits and hitting with runners in scoring position, all of a sudden they're unconscious. I mean, I don't know what the number is over the last number of games, but they've been averaging like 6 runs a game. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, Vientos has started to hit, which is huge. Yeah, another 2-run homer. He drove in 3 runs last night. Beatty is hit. Lindor, who was very cold for a long time, has been red hot again now. Pete has been, pretty consistent. I mean, say whatever you want
Yeah.
about Pete. Pete's got 106 RBIs. He's been their best clutch hitter all year. They got to sign him too, Ralph. That's got to happen.
Yeah. I think so.
And we're still waiting for Soto. I mean, Soto's had a decent year, but we're still waiting for Soto to have that moment as a Met. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still waiting for that 3-run home run, walk-off home
Yeah.
run that we have not seen all year from Soto. But it
Well,
looks like
what's happening with him, Joe? If you look at the numbers, you'll see that he's had a pretty darn good year.
Right.
But just by visual and seeing this team every day, he hasn't had a good year. I don't think he has. He has had a good year. He had a lot of home runs when it didn't mean anything, right?
Yes. Yeah, he's got 32 home runs. He has no 3-run homers. He's got, I think, 23 of the 32 home runs are solo home runs, Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, he's a good. I'm not saying we didn't want him. I'm not saying I don't want him on my team, anything along those lines. But as far as this year, what I expected from him, to this point, he's been a disappointment. Now, look, if he gets red hot now, they make the playoffs, which I think they're going to do. They're starting to put Cincinnati behind them a little bit now.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets hot in the playoffs and carries us, that's great. But it looks like they righted the ship. They just destroyed the Phillies. I mean, they blew them out 3 games at home. They cut the deficit to 4. They got themselves back in the race again. And let's be honest with this: since this kid McClain has come up, they're 8-3 since this kid's come up. He's 3-0. He goes 8 innings of shutout ball yesterday. Unbelievable. Yeah. He's the first Met pitcher ever to win his first 3 decisions in his, as a starter.
Really?
Nobody's done that. Nobody.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Not Seaver, not Kuzman, not Doc, not DeGrom. Nobody.
That's some stat right there.
Yeah.
Well, get 8 innings, unheard of. These guys just don't go 8 innings.
Right.
And if you get a guy like that, you take the pressure off the bullpen. You don't have to go to the 6th inning guy, the 7th inning guy.
Yep.
and you got something going. See, they didn't hit for that drought that they went through. They didn't hit, and the pitching was horrible. And he's parading out to the mound, taking these guys out after 5 innings. It was disastrous, but suddenly it just turned around. Going into the playoffs, anybody can win. And I think if the Mets get in, they have to be a threat still.
Here's the biggest problem that we have, and that's the bullpen. It stinks. I have no outside of Edwin Diaz, Ralph. I have no confidence in anybody. They brought these guys in. This guy Hemsley has been terrible that they traded for. Rogers has been up and down. Even Soto was real good, and the last couple of times out, he's given it up. And I would change the. And here's the other thing too: Senga and Manaea have not been good. I mean, let's be honest.
No, they haven't.
They have not been good. Nope.
Nope. And in the bullpen, once in a while, let the guy pitch through the inning. Don't be so quick with the hook.
Right.
And bring these guys. If you had a stellar bullpen, if these guys were doing the job, I could see him going out there. But once in a while, he must know he has a bad bullpen.
Well,
he knows it. We know it. He knows it, right? He goes out there. Gets his pitcher, and here we go again. Every single time, Joe, I start to shake my head. I said, it's over. They're going to blow it. I don't know what the remedy is for a bad bullpen. These guys throw too hard, too long, and they can't go 2 innings. God forbid the guy goes, more than 1 inning. I don't know.
Well, by the way, let me just say one thing to your point on that. First of all, I think 80%, 85% of relief pitchers aren't any good to begin with. I think there's only a small percentage of relief pitchers that are really good. Diaz is one of them. And one thing about Diaz, I think he's had six outings this year where he's gotten at least 4 outs. 6. That's
he's done that.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So he's come in the 8th inning and then went into the 9th inning.
Yeah.
That's a rare thing.
Well, the other day, the game they won against Philly the other day when they blew the 5-2 lead and then they won it in the 9th inning. Remember, Diaz comes in with 1 out in the 8th inning after Hemsley gave up the tying home run to Bader, and he got the next 5 outs, Diaz. So, and then they won it in the bottom of the 9th inning. So I got a lot of confidence in him. Outside of him, I have confidence in nobody in that bullpen.
How do you see this thing panning out? Who are the playoff teams as you see it right now?
Well, I mean, look, I think obviously the Dodgers are making it. Milwaukee's been great. I mean, they're going to make it. They got the best record in the league. Milwaukee, the Dodgers, and I still think the Mets will not catch the Phillies for the division. I hope they do. They got a shot. They play them 4 more times in Philadelphia. But those 3 teams are making it. I would say the Padres are going to make it. The Cubs are going to make it. And the Mets. I think those are the teams you're looking at.
Who's the big threat? Dodgers, big threat. They go that first round. They would, the way it's panning out, who would they play most likely in the first round?
Right now, they play Philly in the first round.
Okay. And
they play Philly in that 3-game crapshoot with all the games in Philadelphia. That's where it is right now.
Are you still high on the manager?
I am. I think he's managed scared sometimes this year, but I think that there's been times when there's just nothing he can do. I mean, if these guys aren't pitching well, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? So, look, they're 11 games over 500. They finally started to hit again. I like the man. I like him. I do like him. Yes, I don't love David Stearns, but I like the manager.
I was just going to ask you about him. What makes you have you warmed up to him or not?
No. And I think he's done a bad job. I mean, look. Last year he made all these moves with the pitching. Everything's worked out for him. This year, he gave Frankie Montas. Ralph, he gave Frankie Montas 2 years and $34 million.
Yeah,
we
that
all
was a
knew
joke.
Frankie Montas stunk. We all knew
I don't get it.
Right?
I don't get it.
Right?
I don't get it. I don't get it. That was one that really got me. I didn't get that.
There's not one that we all knew he wasn't any good. He got away with it with Clay Holmes to make him a starter. It's actually kind of worked out, even though Holmes never pitches more than 5 innings. But it's kind of worked out there. The guys he brought in the bullpen, like I said, the guys he traded for, I got no confidence in any one of these guys. So, we'll see what happens. Manaea's had a terrible year. They signed him to a 3-year contract. He's been bad. They're getting saved by these kids, and the kid's coming up Friday. Jonah Tong, he's pitching Friday against the Marlins. So good. Hopefully
How's your over? I'll name a player. Give me your overview. Lindor. Lindor this season.
All time. Lindor he's had a couple. He had an 0 for 30 and he had an 0 for 20. Outside of that, he's a tremendous hitter. I mean, he's been red hot. He's had some rough moments defensively this year for a guy like him, but he's an all around tremendous player. He's the best shortstop we ever had. Number 12, he might be a Hall of Famer. He might be. And number 12 will eventually be up in the rafters eventually.
I know you love Pete, and Pete's my guy too.
Yeah.
How's Pete's season gone in your eyes?
Well, I mean, look, early in the year he was red hot. He was the only guy that was hitting in big spots. He's had some down periods, but he's hot again. I mean, he had 4 hits again the other night. He's got 106 RBIs. He's second in to Schwarber in RBIs in the National League. If you're getting into OPS, he's well over 800. I think he's better defensively than he gets credit for. He scoops balls better than anybody that I could think of. Obviously now he's broken Darrell's home run record. Pete's got to be a Met for life, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think so. I never understood the whole hesitation with these guys, with him in particular. I thought they treated him very unfairly.
Terrible.
It's hard to say that a multi-million-dollar athlete is ever being treated unfairly in a certain way. But if ever there was a situation, right. This was it. This was it. I mean, I didn't get what they did with him, but I don't know.
And what, though, Ralph? They were lucky that all of baseball treated this guy with disrespect.
Yeah.
Because nobody signed him. The Mets were lucky that he was hanging around as long as he was. For them, finally, I think the fan base, I always say that day, and I was there to do a show that day. They had that fan fest in January. Yeah. And the fans got all over Stearns. They were there, they were chanting Pete Alonso, Pete Alonso. And I think that day really sealed it for Cohen that, you know what, we better get this guy signed. And I was going to say
the same thing. The fans actually did it. I think if that was the turning point, and they actually said we had better do something. Yes, I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's go across town. Let's talk about that team, the Yankees. They've had a pretty strange season, to say the least. What do you say?
Similar to the Mets.
What do you think? Overview with the Yankees this year?
Well, they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think there's any doubt about it. They're a bully team. I mean, you look at them; they just wiped out the Nationals, right? They hit like 4 home runs, whatever they did.
Yeah. Well, they beat up those teams,
right? They kill the bad teams, but they can't beat the Red Sox have beat them 8 out of 10 this year. I think they've lost 7 out of 8 to Toronto. That's why they're not winning the division. They can't beat the 2 better teams in the division. Houston has always given them trouble. The better teams they have trouble with. I mean, that's really the bottom line on the Yankees. I think they're a playoff team. I don't know. Just like the Mets, I think they're a playoff team. I don't know if they're a world championship team. But the bottom line is anything can happen once you get in the playoff. That's for sure.
How about Aaron Judge and his inability to come through in the clutch? What do you think about that? Is it real? Is it coincidence? What is it?
Well, I mean, so far that's been the case. I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, look, he's an all-time great player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's probably the best hitter in baseball. Probably. I don't know who's better, but hasn't hit in the clutch. And another thing, he gets hurt a lot. Ralphie gets hurt a lot. Judge.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Whether it's a freak injury or something else,
whatever it is. Whatever it is, he gets hurt.
Stanton has carried this team. He performs. He's fragile as a piece of glass. He's going to get hurt.
For a guy that's built like an Adonis, Ralph, he gets hurt all the time, Giancarlo. But he's had a good year. When he's played, he's been good. Yeah.
As he's running to first base, Joe, all the Yankee fans are.
You're right. Right.
God forbid, I don't know. Is he going to make it? Is he going to pull a hamstring?
Pull a hamstring, right.
He's built like a truck, but yet he's fragile as glass.
Yep.
What do you think of Boone? I've asked you before, Boone and the front office and everything else. Why are they so ensconced in the Yankees? Why do they seem to have a job no matter what? Especially the GM.
Cashman. Because I think it's all about with Hal Steinbrenner. I think it's all about the Yankee brand. I think as long as they're making money, I think as long as they're making the playoffs, which they basically do every year, With George, it was about winning championships. George would never have stand for what it is now. He would have got rid of Boone and Cashman a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I think the only way I see them being gone is if somehow they completely collapse and don't make the playoffs. And I don't think that's going to happen. So, and Boone, to me, I think Cashman's running the team. I think Boone is he's a puppet for the GM as far as I'm concerned.
And so is every other manager. It's not just him.
Pretty much.
And the argument is with guys that want Boone gone, that you're going to get the same guy, again, the same type of guy again, a corporate guy, and he's going to give way to the people upstairs. That's just the way it goes. And the managers aren't what they used to be, Joe. Billy Martin, an Earl Weaver could never fit in,
right. Those guys are dinosaurs, bro. They don't exist anymore.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I used to watch Earl with those arguments and turn around Manhattan. Yeah. He was tremendous. I was never a Baltimore fan, but he was tremendous.
Yeah.
He was tremendous. But the Yankees
we could go on. All those guys.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Sparky Anderson.
Oh, yeah. Sparky had a good run with the Reds and the Tigers.
Yeah, he won with both of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
he was the manager of the Big Red Machine. The Big Red Machine.
Oh, yeah.
He was the manager. Yeah.
You know something? I'm a Mets guy and everything else. The Reds of the 70s, maybe I'm trying to think of the team, the outstanding team, maybe 1970. That was the best team I've ever seen, I think, ever.
They won back. Yeah, I would agree. I think they were better than the Yankees that won 4 out of 5 in the 90s. I would agree with you. I mean, just look at that. I mean, Pete Rose, Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, Dave Concepcion, Griffey Sr. That was a tremendous team. They won back-to-back in 75 and 76. They beat the Red Sox in that classic World Series in 75 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then they swept the Yankees in 76. They won the pennant in 1970. They lost to the Orioles. They won the pennant in 72. They lost to the Oakland A's. But I'm with you. That was the Big Red Machines, the greatest team in my lifetime. I would agree.
And all the viewers out there, the listeners out there, we're old. I'm sorry. We're old. I'm 64, going to be 65 in a few weeks. Joe's in his 70s. We're harkening back to the good old days. You have to bear with it. Okay, so when I'm trying to think. Oh, okay. Let's talk Hall of Fame quickly. What to you right now? What is the greatest injustice? Who are the guys? Well, let me ask you this: who are the guys that are in that shouldn't be in your opinion, and who are the guys that should be in that aren't in?
Well, I mean, look, Billy Wagner to me is not a Hall of Famer. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, you could tell me all day long, about Billy Wagner. I'm sorry. He's not. If you're going to put Billy Wagner in the Hall of Fame, then John Franco should be in the Hall of Fame, as far as I'm concerned. Okay,
that's true.
So that's the guy. He just got in, so he immediately stands out to me. There's guys like Craig Biggio, Jeff Bagwell. Mike Messina is a guy I don't think is a Hall of Famer. Trevor Hoffman, relief pitcher. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. There's a bunch of guys, and I mean, look. How is David Cone not in the Hall of Fame? You put Mike Messina in the Hall of Fame, CC Sabathia, and I'm okay with CC Sabathia, but you're putting him in, and you don't have David Cone in the Hall of Fame? Come on. Are you serious?
Cone is hands down.
Ron
Guidry is it's a big injustice.
Right. And my guy, by the way, let me just show you this. Hold on. Talk about injustices in the Hall of Fame. My guy, Albert Bell. Here he is.
Albert Bell. Yeah. by the way, Joe had Albert Bell on the show. I was the guy who said Albert Bell was a jerk, but Joe tells me differently. He wasn't a bad guy, right?
Albert Bell, Evan and I got to interview him. I think it was the last week of my full-time retirement, and he was phenomenal. And then I had him on the podcast. He came on. Bro, this guy, he is an intelligent dude. This is no idiot.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's no idiot. He got a bad rap because the media got on him and he wouldn't talk to the media, okay? And that's why he's not in. You look at this guy's stat, bro, he had like 100 RBIs 10 years in a row.
He ruled baseball for 10 years.
What's that?
He was the most feared hitter in baseball for 10 years.
The two biggest, to me, I look at MVP voting. There's two that stand out at me as the two biggest hose jobs of all time. One is baseball, one is basketball. 1995, the Cleveland Indians, remember that was a shortened season the year after the lockout. They played 144 games that year. The Cleveland Indians won 100 games out of 144. They wound up winning the pennant. Albert Bell became, I still think he's the only guy ever to have 50 homers and 50 doubles in the same year. Okay.
I think that's right.
Best team in the league. And he doesn't get the MVP. They give it to Mo Vaughn. And if you look at Mo Vaughn's stats that year, not even close to what Albert Bell was. So I thought that he didn't get it because the writers didn't like him. The other one, okay, is basketball. And you go back to 2002, and they gave Tim Duncan the MVP over Jason Kidd when Jason Kidd came to the Nets and turned the Nets from a laughing stock into the team that went to the NBA Finals. And they didn't give Jason Kidd the MVP. So those are the two biggest ones to me.
Yeah, that is a good one. You came out with that one. I didn't think of that one. That's a good one. And the Hall of Fame's a popularity contest. I'll give you a couple of names. Is all the talk about
names, and I'll tell you if I agree with it or not.
Okay, Keith Hernandez. Now I'm a tough marker. I think Keith was a very good ball player, bordering on a great ball player. We can't say anything bad about his defensive skills. The best that ever plays the position, probably. I don't think Keith is a Hall of Famer. How about you?
No, I think he should be in. I think
he should be. Okay.
Well, I think he's you just said it. He's probably the greatest defensive first baseman of all time. He's a guy that won 2 championships, with the Cardinals and the Mets. He was an MVP one year with the Cardinals, 1979. Tremendous clutch hitter. I think his lifetime average was about 297. But I think the reason he didn't get in is because he was a first baseman that did not hit the power. And I think the other thing that hurts him is the drug thing. The whole thing with the Pittsburgh drug trials and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always say this. Keith Hernandez and Don Mattingly, who were, they were contemporaries. And we saw both of them play in New York at the same time in the 80s. Both of them could be in a Hall of Fame. Don Mattingly, for 5 years, was the best player in baseball. And I understand he didn't play, the injuries caught up to him. To me, they should both go in together, Mattingly and Hernandez.
See, I think Mattingly is a Hall of Famer, but Keith falls just short. Okay. And that's just me. That's just me. What do I know? But the thing about all right, now they put Gil Hodges. Let's go way back.
Should have been in.
And finally, after years and years and years, were you happy with that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, Gil should have been in long before that. I mean, you look at all the guys from that. As I call it, the Boys of Summer Dodger team, Brooklyn Dodgers. Jackie's in, Duke's in, Duke Snyder, Campy, Roy Campanella's in, Pee Wee Reese is in, Hodges had to be in. Yeah, but Gil Hodges, when he retired, had 370 home runs. He had the most home runs of any right-hand hitter at that point in the National League. Obviously, a lot of guys have gone by him, but to that point. And then when, all those great Dodger teams that he was on. He won 2 championships with the Dodgers. Remember, he won in 55, and then he was on a team in 59 in L.A., and he was the manager of the Mets, the 69 Mets. I mean, so when you look at all of that, eventually they did put him in, but he should have been in a lot sooner than he was.
You got to factor in that managerial stint there with the Mets. I mean, he took a team that was a last-place team just about the year before in 68, and he brought him to the World Series. Yeah. I remember him running out to take Cleon Jones out of the ball. Speaking about managers not being able to do these things anymore. Well, if you don't know, folks, he walked out in the middle of the game when Cleon was kind of dogging it, and he walked out and removed him personally from the game.
Of course, the classic of that, though, is Billy Martin taking Reggie Jackson out of the game.
That was a good one, too.
Do you remember that at Fenway? And they almost went at it in the dugout. Billy was ready to go after Reggie in the dugout. Elston Howard had to separate him. You remember that?
It's a very famous scene of them jawing away in the dugout. Nose to nose in the dugout. I remember that. Oh, my goodness gracious.
1977, Ralph. That was 1977.
That's right, 1977. The year before I graduated high school. And, by the way, where did you go to high school? I'm curious. Where'd you grow up?
Paramus High School.
Paramus High School. Okay.
1970, class of 71, Ralph.
Okay, I'm class of 78. I went to a place called Don Bosco Tech.
Up
You ever
here
heard
by
of it?
me, up in Mawa, where I live. Right
No,
here.
that was Don Bosco Prep. There were two schools.
Oh, really? Where was Tech?
There was a tech school in Patterson where
Oh, okay.
you took a trade.
Okay.
It was a tech school. Don Bosco Prep was the elite up in Ramsey. It was a little bit different. But I went to that all boys school in Patterson, New Jersey. I got talked into.
They would have to. I would leave. I would have left home if they tried to send me to an all boys school, Ralph. I got to tell you right now, the only reason to go to school was to see the freaking girls. I mean, come on.
Hey, what they got away with in that school, Joe,
Oh, I can imagine.
the brothers and the priest, they had a thing, Joe, called the Board of Education. It was an actual board. And if you got out of line and you did the wrong thing, you got the board. I never got it, but I know friends that did. Yeah. Anyway, we're going way off track.
You have to tell me, man. I was in Catholic school. I was in Catholic school in the 60s in grade school, and the nuns, you talk about getting away with murder. The nuns back then could do anything they wanted to, bro.
Oh,
They'd be in jail now.
The nuns would hit me with a ruler.
Yep.
The nuns actually, I used to grow my hair long, and if the hair touched the collar, the nun actually cut my hair with a little kid. Listen to what happened. I'll tell you a story. It's fun. I told this on the radio a couple of times, and people laughed. Get a plate, the little plate scissors, little kid scissors. Just cut my hair, chopped it up like terrible, right? My mother got wind of this. I went home with a hat on. My mother said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Nothing." She took off the hat. She said, "What did they do to you? What did they do to you?" Took me, put me in the car, went back to this sister, bawled her out. I sat outside the classroom. She went in the classroom, yelled and screamed at her. The nun never touched me ever again. My mother had to do that. That's what happened.
They got away with. That's the kind of crap they got away with back then. You're right about that. Yep.
I mean, she didn't hurt me and beat me, but you can't do that. It's humiliating.
Do that.
If you didn't show up for church and you didn't put your envelope in, they would actually shame you on Monday. The next day.
I understand.
Oh my God. But this is Patterson, New Jersey, which was has a bad reputation, Joe. It was a great place to grow up back in
those days.
Yeah, it really was. Let's talk quickly about the Jets.
Yes.
What do you think now? Optimistic or pessimistic?
Well, I mean, it's hard to be optimistic. I mean, look, I think this is a gravy year for Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. They got a gravy year. I can only hope that Glenn turns out to be the real deal as the head coach. This quarterback is not any good. I think that they didn't want any. Look, even though I wanted Rodgers back, they didn't want any part of Rodgers. He was too big a deal there. They wanted to be in charge of everything. I think Fields is clearly just a stopgap, and they're going to draft a quarterback next year. That's my feeling on where they're at. Anything they give us this year to me is gravy, because I don't think they're any good. I mean, they're going to run the ball. They got one wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. Hopefully, the defense turns out to be pretty good. But all I want this year is I want to have a head coach. I only hope that this guy turns out to be, the head coach that I've been waiting for forever, really.
From what you see so far, you have good feelings about him?
Well, I mean, look, it seems like he's running a tight ship there. I mean, but who knows till they start playing? I don't know. Until they start playing, Ralph, you can't make any assumptions at all. Like I said, he's running the team. It's his team, and it's obviously he's in control of the building and all of that. Let's see what he does once they start playing football.
You like the direction the NFL has gone with everything, with their rule changes and all that?
Here's the problem. Well, look, not so much rule changes, but this idea where they got these, I don't know what you want to call them. I mean, I don't know. One of the teams, I think, has a trans cheerleader, don't they? I think it's the Panthers.
Oh, wait a minute. I was going to bring that up. I was looking at a video, Joe, in the Minnesota Vikings, the Purple People.
Yes,
that was my team back in the old days. They got some, let me be nice. They got this very effeminate guy with two of them Okay, I always saw one. I saw one, but they have two. Little tight little shorts, they have to be kidding. In a league where most of the players are homophobic as can be. I hate to say
Yeah.
it, but
Not to
the
mention,
NFL.
not to
Yeah,
mention, look at the
yeah,
fan base of the NFL.
that's
What
right.
what what are you doing? You try. I mean, what are you doing? You're trying to feminize the NFL. Is that what you're doing? And the other thing too is they got to stop with the political crap. Look, they got to stop with the end racism stuff in the end zone. Okay,
Yeah,
enough of that now. Okay, can we
yeah.
stop with that now, please? You know,
Well, the NFL seems to have doubled down on everything with the
yes,
male cheerleaders and these little messages in
yes,
the end zone. It's absolutely ridiculous. In fact, the male cheerleader in college, they used to have these big brawny guys lifting
right,
these
right,
women.
right, right, right. They throw
But
the
that's a
girls up in the
whole
air.
different ball game, folks. The way what they do now, the guy had a full face of makeup. He had his hair
Yeah,
beautifully done.
of course.
He's out there gyrating. This can't be what America wants. They went the way of Cracker Barrel, Joe.
Yeah. But look what
They went,
happened. But Cracker Barrel now has come back to
they
reality.
went back, right?
Right, right, right. Yeah,
They had a
absolutely.
nice little logo. They had this guy
Great.
leaning at the Cracker Barrel. They had tradition and everything else. And the little female executive got in control, and they
Right. The
changed the.
little left-wing liberal, typical liberal
And
woman,
you saw
young
her, right?
liberal
She fit the
woman.
bill. She fit the bill exactly. She had the horn rimmed glasses. She was
Right,
up there.
right.
And I was
Voted for
talking about.
Kamala, the whole deal.
Yes, yes, very, very much so. So,
By the way, I want to clarify one point. I'm
yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
I'm no racist by any stretch of the
Of
imagination,
course not. Of
but I
course not.
am sick and tired of them throwing politics at us. Enough already. We don't enough. Look, Donald Trump is the president. Okay, to me, look, the fact that we had that wonderful American Eagle jeans commercial with the absolutely gorgeous
Oh
Sydney
yeah,
Sweeney. Okay, the
right.
fact that we got a Fanatics commercial with Livy Dunn in a bathtub. Okay, if you've seen that commercial, I don't know if
No,
you've
I
seen it.
missed that one, but I'll check it.
I'm sure you'll see it. Okay, the fact that we have that, America's back. The real men. It's about this country. Look, we got the all-time. I don't know how you want to call it. The most toxically masculine guy that ever lived is the president right now. Okay,
Toxic masculinity in the White House.
at its best. Okay. Look, I'm toxically masculine. I think you are too, Ralph. But
Yeah,
enough of this BS with these beta males and catering to the to the left and the radical left and all their garbage. Enough. And I think you're seeing the change. I think you're seeing the change. Cracker Barrel got hit with it. You saw it with Bud Light when they tried to sell us Dylan Mulvaney.
oh yeah.
Um, so look, you see the
This
change in
was a very successful franchise, Cracker Barrel.
yes,
They
yes,
said that the value of the food had gone down, the quality of the food had gone down a little bit. But this
right.
place is a very popular place.
Yeah,
In one fell swoop, Joe, they destroyed the whole thing with this thing. But now the guy, I give him credit, he turned it around and doing
yeah,
another 180, and they're coming back. I would
yeah.
be remiss if I didn't bring up the tragedy that was the school shooting. We'll talk about it quickly. Just your view on what happened with the
Well,
transgender
yeah.
going in there.
Well, it's funny. My wife told me about it yesterday. She said there
Hmm.
was this terrible school shooting in Minnesota. Two
Yes.
kids were killed, Catholic school. They were praying and all this. And I said, have they revealed the shooter yet? She says, no. I said, that tells me all I need to know. That this shooter is either going to be LBGTQ, either that or it's a kid of color. I said because when the media doesn't tell you immediately, if it was a white kid, you know that immediately. If it was some freaking
Right.
white kid, who was a Trump supporter, you'd know it in 5 minutes that was
Yeah.
what the deal was.
They politicize it immediately.
Immediately. But the fact that they've tried to push it as long as they did, now it's out now. The kid was a boy, and then he tried. Became a girl, and all it is, he had pictures, I guess, of Jesus Christ with a bullet through his head in the
Yeah.
house, and all. And immediately, the FBI, because now, of course, the FBI is actually the FBI, run by Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, or whatever. They came out immediately and called it what it is: a hate crime. It's a hate crime
Yeah.
against against Christians. What else could you call it? Right? He goes to a church and shoots kids while they're praying. Come on.
He had a manifesto that he, and again, if they start to read this, if they read this manifesto by this nut job, they just embolden somebody else to do the same thing. You got to keep all this stuff. I don't want to hear what he had to say. I don't want to hear his disgusting diatribe. I don't want to hear it. And
but don't make it. You know what, though, Ralph? Don't make it that and what the liberals do. Okay, and they're not even liberal anymore. They're radical left-wing socialists, as far as I'm concerned. What they come out with is it's about the guns. It's not about the guns. Look, anybody can get a gun illegally anytime they want to get it. Okay, let's be honest about it. Apparently, he bought this guy or whatever he is.
He was able to get quite a few weapons.
Right. But you could go online and get all the black market guns you want. So I don't want to hear about the guns. It's the people shooting the guns. Those are the people. And what they got to do, I really believe this too. It's time you got to start putting security and police in these schools.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, Ralph. I hate to say that, but they have to.
They don't like the visual, Joe. The people that run the schools, they don't like the idea of having armed guards. But let me tell you something. Would you rather have shooting after shooting, or do you want safety? If you really want safety, you have to do it. I wouldn't, if my kid was going off to school right now, I'd be deathly afraid every day. After hearing this, how do you send your kid off to school and feel good about it?
You can't.
It's just unbelievable. Yep. This guy went in there and just started to shoot up the place. And of course, as the coward that he is, he killed himself afterwards. We can't question him.
Well, here's the thing, though, Ralph. And here's the thing. And I saw something today that I think I saw one of the news shows, 45% of these kids that change their sex, wind up killing themselves. These are people that are mentally ill. Let's call it like it is. These are mentally ill. If you're if you're a boy and you want to be a girl, something's wrong with you. You're not right. Let's be honest.
Well, here it is, Joe. It's a sign that, along with wanting to change your gender, there are other things that are signifying your mental illness at work.
Right.
So it's not just a single subject thing. Everything is happening at once. If your goal is to be a boy, if you were a girl, or the other way around, there's serious mental illness. Not only just that, but a lot of other factors. So a guy like that a guy or a girl, whomever, whatever you want to say, should never have the access to all these guns. But if you want to get a gun, you can get a gun. I mean, there are ways to get a gun.
No question.
It's not just the gun, by the way. It's the psychotropic, the psychiatric medication, the kind of medication you got to be put on in order to change your sex, Joe.
Right. That's right.
It's really some serious medication.
Excellent point, Ralph.
And what does it do to the brain?
No question about it.
So if you have a guy with this proclivity, and he's the kind of guy that's going to go in there and do that, hand him a myriad of medication, and you got yourself a time bomb ready to go in there and do something terrible. And these four children, I think two have died, Joe.
Yeah, two were killed. Yeah.
And about 16 or 17 injured, and I think you have some grown-ups, some adults in there too. It's just terrible. And there's not much you can do about it, because when you go out in a big group of people, you don't know who's the wacko among you. You don't know where. You go to a ball game, you go to a venue of any kind.
No idea. Yep.
Speaking of venues, how was your party the other night in Hackensack?
Oh, you're talking about the live podcast at the Hackensack?
How was that? Did it go well?
It went very well. We had a great group. We had Tony Richardson, the former NFL player. We had my good buddy John Harper, the great sports writer. Sal Licata made an appearance. So we had a
Sal was there too.
Yep, we had a real good group there. We got to get Ralph Romeo there one of these days.
Oh, I got to get there. Well, the reason why I moved a little far away, it was a bad time. I was gonna grab Cindy. Said we have to make it this time. And a friend of mine said,
"Where are you living?"
A friend of mine. Now we moved down south, Joe.
Where are you in the down shore now?
We're in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida now?
Yeah, I'm still going to be around for Manhattan when I call
Oh,
you.
I didn't
So,
know that. Good for you.
but
Congratulations, Ralph. I didn't know
we
you
you
were in
know how we
Florida.
moved. I'll tell you how we moved to Florida, Joe. Well, I said to Cindy, I found this place, and I said to Cindy, I said, "You want to go to Florida?" She said, "Oh, it sounds good." And that kind, we just kind of were very spontaneous about it,
You.
and we moved. We moved. It doesn't have to be forever, but for right now, we're going to be
Good for
down
you.
here. In fact, when I mentioned Cindy, said they should do. Oh, they should do testing. Cindy said they should do testing on this monster's brain afterwards to see what made him tick. And she's right. You got to
Yeah.
find. By the way, it's you know if they serve notice and they say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and they threaten everybody, you could bet that eventually they're going to do it. Why
Yeah.
don't we take these people seriously when they serve notice that they're no good and they want to shoot people and kill people?
Yeah. Look,
You know,
I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more.
if the
Well,
guy
good for
puts
you.
out,
You're in Florida. God bless you. Thank you. Say a little Ron DeSantis for me, all right?
yeah, DeSantis is my governor now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I always liked him.
He's the best.
I thought he'd make a pretty good president.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be I think the next guy is going to be JD, honestly.
I don't think he's going to be president, but I think he would have been had Trump not come along. He would have been
Right.
okay.
Yeah, he made the mistake of going up against Don. He shouldn't have done that. You're right.
But what do you think about the job that the president is doing in all the states sending the cities sending the National Guard?
Well, look, he's only done it in D.C. so far, and look at what I even saw the mayor, even Muriel Bowser yesterday came out and said it's working. So he's done a
Mm-hmm.
tremendous job. I mean, there hasn't been a murder there in over a week, which is a big deal. The carjacking is down like 85, 90%. It was terrible there in DC. And the
Mm-hmm.
people that live there, they love it. They love it, Ralph. This guy, look, and I know Mayor Johnson, Brandon Johnson, and fat ass Pritzker there in
Uh-huh.
Illinois, the governor. These guys are freaking disasters. They don't want the people. I saw some young lady, a black young lady on TV the other day. She says we call Chicago Chirac for
Uh,
okay, like Chicago, like it's
yep,
Iraq. I mean, that's how
yep.
bad it is. So
Well,
look,
the mayor there is objecting to it. He
yep,
says,
Brandon
"Don't you
Johnson.
get?" Yeah, I mean, how could he do it with a straight face? And also, you get the guy in the street. Mostly, that you interview the guy in the street. He said, "Thank goodness for these people.
Right?
Thank goodness these
Yeah,
people are here to
right,
protect us for
right.
once." And they're going to go
Let
into
me tell you, I'll say
Memphis.
this. What's that?
They're
I'm
going to go
sorry.
into Memphis. I'm sorry, Memphis, Chicago. He's going to
Yep.
have this, maybe even New York.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny about New York because I actually think that, and he's going to be gone for this clown Mondami, but I actually think that Eric Adams has done a decent job as far as safety in the city. I don't think
Not
it's
terrible.
right. I don't think it's like what it's not Chicago by any means. You know what I mean? It's not DC. I think he's actually done a pretty decent job, and unfortunately, he's going to be gone. So, what are you going to
Well,
do?
scandal. He's got too many bad people around him. He's
Yeah.
got scandal after scandal. I mean, you
But
can't survive.
You know what, though, Ralph? Look, he finally said, look, we cannot sustain having all these illegals coming into New York City. And he was on his way to Washington to talk to Biden, Joey Boy, about it. And he had to go back immediately to New York because all of a sudden they were investigating all his people because
That's true.
they went after him because he started to balk about all the illegals.
Yeah,
And then, that's really what happened to him, as far as
they
I'm
did
concerned.
target him. They did
Yeah,
target him.
of course. Of course.
But what do you think? What do you think? Is there any chance that Sliwa or Cuomo, you don't think so?
No, it's not that I don't think so. I think the only way it's going to happen is these guys, they can't all run. They got to get together and say, look, for the good of New York City, if we're going to have a chance, then we got to consolidate it to one guy against Mondami. Otherwise, they have no chance, as far as I'm
And who
concerned.
would be that guy?
I don't care. You know what? I mean, I think Sliwa should be the guy. It's probably Cuomo, even though we know he's not exactly, let's be honest, he's an asshole too. He's a scumbag too.
The
But
lesser of the two evils, right?
right, yes, yeah. I think Cuomo would be the one guy with a shot. That's me.
Do you think it's possible at all? Do you think it's a done deal, Mamdani? I mean, you think Downey is going to be a shoo-in?
Here's what I hope. I hope that when push comes to shove, there's 2 million Jews in New York City. I think it's got a bigger population of Jews than Tel Aviv. Okay,
I
so
think you're right.
if you're Jewish, how the hell can you vote for this guy who's an out and out Jew hater? How can you vote for him? And I am always amazed. And I got a lot of friends, Jewish friends. I'm very pro-Israel. My first wife was Jewish, all of that. I got 2 daughters that are Jewish. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm very pro the Jews and Israel and all of that. But it boggles my mind how so many of the Jews still vote for the freaking Democrats when the anti-Semitism in the Democratic Party is off the charts, bro. It's unbelievable.
It happens, and it's so ingrained in them from years and years and years that some of them would never vote for a Republican.
Right,
they would
that's
never
right.
vote Republican.
Never.
They'd rather die first.
Right, right.
And the secular Jew is not the same as the religious Jew. That's where you have your big difference.
Yeah, the conservative Jews, the
yeah.
Hasids, they're conservative. They're voting for the Republic. They're voting for Don. Those guys, no doubt.
Well, in the acting world, as an actor, I mean, let's face it, there are many, many Jewish people in the entertainment business, and they're mostly left-wing leaning. I mean, very few Trump. But yet their foundation is Judaism, but yet they don't see it that way, Joe. They see it through a liberal prism, and that's just the way it goes.
Well, you know what I'm amazed about, Ralph? How many Jewish people in this country don't particularly like Israel? I'm very. There's a lot of them. I'm very surprised by that.
Although some will make their trek to Israel, they'll go there all the time. They're very connected with Israel, but you get the other types that have nothing to do. They hate. They hate Netanyahu. They don't. It's really. I don't know, but the answer. Well, the thing is, New York's going to survive, but people are going to flee.
Yeah.
Like I did.
Yes.
They're going to fly to another state. You know something? I hate to say it, but the people have been friendlier. When you go down the street in our neighborhood, you actually wave to a stranger. They pass you by in a car, Joe, and they're waving to me. Now, a New York guy like myself, I'm saying, what's this guy want from me? He's waving to me. I don't know him. But it's really nice to wave to strangers out there. It's a beautiful neighborhood. I'm happy. So we'll see how it goes.
I have a daughter that lives in Alabama. Okay. She's a nurse. She lives in Alabama. She tells me, and she's been yelling. She wants us to go down there and live. Okay. I can tell you right now. I have yet to be down there. I got to get down there at some point. I got to get over this massive fear of flying I have. I hate flying. Okay.
Oh, do you have fear of flying?
Well, especially all the horror stories.
Oh, well, that's true.
The airports and all this crap now.
That's true.
Right? But she says, Dad, I can't believe it. She goes, people constantly waving, how you doing? I don't know who these people are. They're always saying hello, how are you? It's a different world down here. Like where you are.
They came down with that. They said to me, one said to me, hello, and they start to talk to me with this southern accent. I said, this is beautiful. This is really nice. We drove down here, Joe.
Yeah.
We drove down here. It took us, oh my God, what a drive. It's a rough drive. It's about 1,300 miles. We're in the Panhandle. We're near Alabama. We're in the Panhandle.
Right. So where you are in Central Time where you are.
Yes, that's right. And that time change I wasn't aware of.
Yes.
Suddenly I saw my phone. I said, what's wrong with it? Oh, we're an hour earlier.
Yes.
So now it's noontime by me, 1:00 by you.
Yep.
And I've kept you a long time, and it was a great.
You, Ralph. I told you this. You're a great guy. You've been a great caller for a long time to me. I've known you for a long time. You're a gentleman. You're not some.
I appreciate.
You're not some asshole type guy, which there are a couple of those around. But you're clearly not that, and I appreciate it. You're a class act all the way. And
well, what you're going to have to do. Thank you very much. And if you want to, if you come down this way, promise you'll come by and visit Cindy and I, and we'll go out to dinner or something like that. Absolutely. Okay, man. Joe, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Ralph, all the love. God bless America. Great talking to you, bro.
Same here. Thank you.